Hey everybody, Anthony here. So I thought about on this week with my life with Hirschsprungs. I thought about talk about what it was like growing up with Hirschsprungs. Now, when I was younger, after starting with school and everything, it was it wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. Always yes, I had to use the bathroom a lot at school and they knew that, but sometimes I still hated like asking to use the bathroom a lot and and going like that. But, I had to learn that it was okay to ask to use the bathroom and because nobody likes to use the bathroom a lot, especially when you're kids because well, kids are just, how kids are. And then, but also, it's like when you have to use the bathroom a lot, it's you almost have to figure out how to use the bathroom or to find the bathrooms, like, there was one time when at at summer camp, I was able to use the bathrooms at the nurse office. And once I was able to do that, I thought that was really good because when you use the bathroom at a porta potty, it's yes, the same concept is with like a hole in the wall, I mean a hole in the ground, but it's also like it's just better for you to wipe and everything when you're on the toilet. So, but like I dealt with that, and in the summertime, how there's that uh not blistering, but like well, there was sometimes not blisters, but it was you know chafing. That's it. There would be chafing a lot and everything. And then growing up, it was also like whenever we went on trips, it was like I had to figure out where was the bathroom and how long the trip was gonna be and like all this stuff. Like I wanted to be part of the world, but because the world sometimes was just hard sometimes. So obviously I had to figure out how do I do it. But there was times when I'm like I just hated, because growing up I remember when I would get on my mom's lap and just cry or anything because and I would say like this is not fair. This isn't fair. And of course, my mom said, "Yes, I know it's not fair, honey." You know, but it wasn't I didn't thought it was fair, because I was getting tired of not being able to eat certain foods like everybody else did or just dealing with trying to be a normal kid. But yet like I remember when I wanted to go over like, have sleepovers with my friends, but yet I could, but I still had to deal with the whole bathroom situation, and stuff like that. So, on one hand, yeah, it was normal, but on the other hand, it wasn't normal. And then when I slowly got into, junior high, I dealt with it a little bit better, a little bit more on my own terms. And then when I got into high school, it was like still the same thing. I was getting better at it, but also, you know, But then once I get, start to become like a little bit more adult like, with the driver's license and everything, then I could, started to be like my own, took care of it a little bit better, as in like, after a while I started to know where all the bathrooms were, like the grocery stores, and when I went out by myself, or you know, I started to figure out how to deal with this a little bit better than when I was younger, even though there were some things that I still dealt with when I was younger, but so, and then, but also, I still had to deal with, like, I still remember, like, when I was when I was hanging out with one of my brothers, and we were walking around through the city, and it's like, I need to use the bathroom. And he was like, well, why don't you just ask my friend, or I'm like, I didn't really want to because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for asking to use their bathroom because it was their bathroom. I knew I wasn't going to be making a mess, but it was like, like what I've said before in some videos, you don't always like asking other people to use the bathroom when you know what you're going to be doing with it. And so I learned how to either hold it as much as I could, and then, and then when I was able to use the bathroom, I could. And then when I started to work, that's when it started to get a little bit more different, because then I had to really like push the whole advocating thing for me, and all that stuff. Like when I did construction, I always had to make sure I knew where the bathroom was. I didn't care if it was a porta potty. I didn't care that whatever, as long as I had a place to use the bathroom, I was fine. But there was some days when I remember one time when I was on a job site and I didn't use the bathroom for a whole day. I didn't get hurt, but I felt it pretty bad at later on that night. Cause I almost thought that I blocked my system up, but I really didn't. But it was just, in some ways I did, but not to the point where I had to go to the doctors. You know. So I thought that, well, once I would start to figure out what's going on with work and everything, then I can figure out how do I use the bathroom. And then I started to figure out how long, I figured out how long it took me to use the bathroom. And then I figured out how long, but normally it's really, in some ways, I feel like it's just hard sometimes. I mean, when you're fine, when you're by yourself, you deal with it. You just learn how to deal with it. But like, for example, like when we were going through the pandemic, oh my god, with the bathrooms, no bathrooms, like that was horrible. I remember one time I was up in Burlington, and I basically said, like, when I walked into the coffee shop, like, may I use the bathroom because I have a medical condition and all this stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, you're totally fine, and I said thank you, and and they were like so cool, they were really cool and nice and everything. So I made sure that I told them that you're, thank you so much, and everything, and you know, so, but it's weird because it's almost like, even though like everyone uses the bathroom, sometimes it's like when there is no bathroom, people are, it's like, well, what are you about the bathroom situation, So another time I had to learn how to adapt and all that stuff. So it is, I don't want to say it is what it is, but it is kind of hard when you have to use the bathroom a lot and you can't always use the bathroom. But then I'm not sure when it happened, but then when I got a little bit more older, I started to be like, it's like when you go on a trip. If you have, like, when you're driving and everything, if you have to stop every 5 minutes and you're driving, then you're gonna stop and forever, because like then you can enjoy your trip. I mean, if you have to tell your friends like, hey man, I need to use the bathroom, then you need to let them know, because if not, they're gonna have an accident in the car, and then it's gonna just snowball, and nobody wants that. Trust me, nobody wants that. And then, but so, like, I remember one time when me and a friend of mine, we went to Boston, and I said, hey, I need to use the bathroom. And she's like, all right, then let's figure this out, because we were in Boston. But we were able to find bathrooms when we could. And then when that was able to happen, I was able to enjoy being in one of my favorite places in the world, is Boston. Because I was able to enjoy the time I was able to be there and not worry about it, because I was in Boston. That's just like with work sometimes now. I go to the bathroom when I can, and I deal with it the way I deal with it. So growing up, if you're still growing up with it, sorry, long day at work. That's why I had a shave today, for work. So so you just want to take your time growing up with a medical condition, and because, my parents always taught me, like, you have to deal with this. You got something that nobody else has, and all this stuff. So it can be rough sometimes, but if you take your time and kind of advocate for yourself, I mean, if like what you do is like, if like I have some like empty pee bottles ready for me in my truck, just in case if I can't find a bathroom. But I know that if, as long as I pee or something, I can deal with it, you know? But also, too, I also keep, sorry, I also have stuff for, like, if I have to, like, go to the bathroom outside or something, I'm prepared for it. You have to deal with it. So, I know this is like my first long video, but I just want to say what it was like growing up with Hirschsprungs. You know, it's interesting. It was interesting, and you know what? It still is. So, well, I guess that's all the time I got today, and I hope everyone's doing well. And subscribe, to the bottom of the video, so you can just, because I just want to help as many people as I can, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please send them. Please send them, and hopefully I can try to answer them for you. Okay, I'll catch you later.